Hi and welcome to Chicken Coop, guys. Today I'll show you how to design a chicken coop. Let's first talk about the differences between a run and a coop. A run is the open area where your chickens roam freely in, while the coop is the enclosed area where they sleep and lay their eggs. It's important to have both for your chicken's health. The biggest choice that you have to make is whether you have a movable coop or a fixed one. So this needs to be large enough so that your chickens aren't overcrowded, and they will need a minimum run space of 4 square feet per hen. Typically you would use a fixed enclosed coop and run setup if you have a large amount of predators in your area. You'll also need to build it bigger than you think. You shouldn't just give them just the bare minimum. And chicken math is real. I started with 4 chickens just a year ago, and this is where we ended up. The benefits of a movable coop is that there's no cleaning involved. When you move the coop and fencing, the chickens get fresh grass to walk on and fresh bugs to eat, and I get fertilizer spread. A fixed coop, however, needs the floor cleaned regularly, and you'll need sand and shavings on the floor. You will likely also have to sprinkle lime to keep the smell at bay, and also keep them freshly supplied with grit, whereas free-ranging chickens can find their own grit, and there's a much reduced smell. So basically, fixed coops are not as good for your chickens. They are higher maintenance, but there are clever ways of reducing the workload of cleaning though. They are, however, much safer if there are predators. Now, whether you choose movable or fixed, that's up to you, but your nesting boxes and roosts are very important to get right. Chickens like to roost at night. That means that they don't sleep on the floor, so it's crucial to have enough space for them to comfortably sleep. The recommended roost height from the floor is a minimum of 2 feet from the ground, with about 12 inches of space per chicken along the roost. You will need more than one roost though, because chickens have a pecking order, and the dominant chickens always sit on top, and the chickens lower in the hierarchy sit at the lower roosts. Keep your roosts far enough apart so that the higher and more dominant chickens can't easily peck down on the lower chickens. You can achieve this by giving about 12 inches of space vertically and some horizontal distance as well. Chickens will always sleep at the highest point that they can reach, even if you don't want them there. They will roost on your rafters if you let them get there. Why is that? Because chickens like to be high and feel safe. Another reason to offset the roosts is that chickens don't poop down on top of one another, and it allows them to jump from one roost to another to get to the top. When you're installing the roosts, turn your roosting bars flat so that they're at least 2 to 4 inches wide. This lets their breasts sit naturally on the roost and helps them sleep. It's crucially important to get the roost higher than the nesting box. If the nesting box is higher than the roost, remember, chickens always sleep at the highest point that they can reach. So they'll end up sleeping in the nesting box and pooping in there. So that just means more cleaning. The nesting box also shouldn't be sitting at ground level. The nesting box should be a minimum of about 1.5 feet off the ground. The size of the nesting box is important too. You want about 12 inches of space vertically and horizontally for each nesting box. So each nesting box should be 12 by 12 inches. And the basic rule of thumb is roughly 4 hens per nesting box. You can help your hens feel safe in the nesting box by painting the inside of the nesting box a dark color. So here's an example. If you want, say, 8 hens, that means you'll need 2 nesting boxes and a minimum of 2 roosts, and roughly a total of 8 feet in roosting bar length. A little bit less is fine because they do huddle up together when it's cold. A good thing to do is have a lip on the edge of your nesting box so that the nesting material doesn't fall out when they're nesting. And you also want to make that lip as thin as you possibly can so that it's not comfortable enough for the chicken to roost on. Because if they start roosting on that lip, then eventually they'll be pooping inside your nesting box. And you don't want that because that's more cleaning. On the topic of cleaning, access and cleaning the coop is very important too. You'll want to make sure that the coop has a door that's easy for you to access so that you can collect the eggs and clean the coop inside easily. You may also want to close them in at night, which is more common for free-range hens to keep them safe from predators. So keep in mind that cleaning the coop regularly is a chore that will need to be done to keep your chickens healthy. They will also need a large access door so that you can get in. You may need to get a sick chicken or clean the coop out properly. My coop has removable roosts, a removable nesting box floor, and no floor to clean. A big factor that you need to consider is predators in your area as well. So predator proofing needs to be tailored to your particular predators that you have. From what I have read, hardware cloth is better to use than chicken wire because raccoons and coyotes and larger predators can easily break through chicken wire. Hawks are also a consideration, so make sure your chickens have protection from the top. When you're designing your chicken coop, be sure to draw it out to scale. This can save you a ton of money if you minimize the amount of offcuts that you have. These are the plans that I've done for my chicken coop. If you cut these pieces out any other way, you'd have to buy an entire extra sheet. So thinking carefully before you start can save you a lot of money. Also think twice about what kind of materials you're going to use to build your chicken coop. Corrugated iron can get extremely hot in some climates. If you're in a wetter climate, you may want to use treated timber so that it doesn't rot and fall to pieces. Some types of wood can expand and rot very, very quickly with just the first bit of rain. So use treated, outdoor rated timber. Now, if you don't want to design your own chicken coop anymore, I have done all the thinking for you. And all you have to do is buy my plans there in the link in the description below. I also have a how-to video stepping you through the entire build process. So thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you, and let me know in the comments below if you have any questions.